For years, many have believed that Ouija boards, or spirit boards, are a tool that can be used to communicate with the dead. In recent times, Hollywood has used this narrative to create a picture of evil and horror, which has impacted the public's perception of what was once used as a toy. And in this episode of My Haunted Hotel Lockdown, we will once again attempt to educate and open people's eyes to the truth, as we hope to eradicate a common problem within the paranormal field and move methods of investigation into a more modern and rational era. A few days ago, we put out a casting call via a Facebook group which has no connection to My Haunted Hotel. This casting call was immediately bombarded from paranormal groups and enthusiasts from across the country, and the information provided was brief. We selected two ladies from a paranormal team down south who do not follow the hotel and have never seen an episode, and this was key to this experiment.
I've had some really cool, interesting stuff of Ouija boards, which Danny and Brett know. I'm hoping they're going to get something. I'm hoping they're going to get some answers to the what is in the pub. I wouldn't mind something personal again, to be quite honest. But I've only just met these guys for literally 2 minutes. They don't know anything about me, which is cool. They don't know anything about the pub, so it's great to start off like this. We wouldn't want a fan in here who knew everything.
Ouija boards are a staple in the paranormal community and the paranormal world, and I don't believe in them. And I want to make sure that this is a fair night and that we make sure that these things are done properly. But I have seen multiple occasions where a Ouija board just isn't true.
Ouija boards are probably one of the most controversial subjects in the paranormal. We have seen a huge rise in Ouija boards over the last 50 years. And especially since the days of the early 2000s at a certain paranormal show, when we suddenly now see every single events company using Ouija boards, or what's known as glass divination.
I am not a big believer of old-fashioned techniques, to be quite honest. But the one thing I really wanted to work is the Ouija board. I said 2 or 3 times I've had some epic stuff. Stuff that I can't explain, stuff that when people weren't even on the board, they were getting answers to real personal questions that the people on the board didn't know. Where does that come from? There was no questions being asked at the time about them individuals. It's so weird. I'm hoping tonight that Ouija boards are real, to be quite honest. I know the other guys are quite skeptical towards them, but they've been around. You hear so many stories about these things, and I'm hoping they're true.
I've only ever seen one convincing Ouija board session, and this came almost 10 years ago now. I had 2 boards and 2 complete sets of strangers round both boards. All of a sudden, both glasses started moving to the exact same letter at the exact same time in unison before the glass on the left-hand side board rose up into mid-air a few inches and crashed back down. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen during my career. But unfortunately, since then, I have never ever seen a convincing Ouija board session. In fact, I'll go as far as saying I have seen tons of faked Ouija board sessions.
Tonight, we are going to be conducting lots of individual experiments with people that do not know anything about us, don't know anything about what we have planned, but also don't know that we are going to actually be planting some stuff tonight that proves that Ouija boards are not what people say they are. I'm not discounting them as a tool in the paranormal, but This needs saying once and for all.
Our two guests have arrived at the hotel, and it is now vital that Harry, Brett and I remain completely committed to the experiment. Sam and Lisa are from a small paranormal team called Lost Souls UK, and they are very much based on old school methods.
Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Lisa.
And we're from Lost Souls UK. I've always been interested in it, but I've been doing it properly for about 7 years. I enjoy using the board. We use that quite a lot. It's a good way to get in contact with spirit. We do like to use the cat balls as well. What do you feel?
The same, cat balls, your own senses, and Ouija boards, yeah.
It's our first time at My Haunted Hotel. We'd never really heard of it before, but the guys have asked us to come in on an investigation and see what we can find.
It was now down to business, and over the next half an hour, I would introduce Sam and Lisa to the key areas of the hotel. And remember, at this stage, everything had been pre-planned to perfection. Harry and Brett monitored from the control room.
This is an interesting night, isn't it, Mr. I've just got off a flight from Spain?
Yeah, it's well, it's all kind of new to me, to be honest with you. It's all been set up in the past week while I've been away, so...
Yeah, you have come into this like, oh, okay. But what is good, these girls have come into this going, what is going on? And that is the point of tonight. This is completely controlled environment. Do Ouija boards work? They know nothing about this other than the things we're about to tell them. And Danny is taking them around the hotel now and telling them a few little bits. We're going to drop a couple of hints here and there just to see whether or not they come up later. If they don't, then we might be onto a winner and proving that Ouija boards have something legit to say.
So this is kind of a post-war themed room. In the wardrobe there we kind of have an isolation part where you can do isolation experiments, things like that. It's a very, very interesting room, this one. In terms of paranormal activity that's happened here, the most recent thing is we've had this moving by itself, but obviously these curtains didn't move. The window, as you can see, is completely closed.
Yeah.
So we were able to capture that on camera. But this is probably one of our quietest rooms in recent times, but over the years it has been known to be one of the most active rooms in the building.
They've just been into room 1. These girls don't even know anything about My Haunted Hotel. They've not seen the show. They don't even know who we are. They're not even, other than me mentioning it, don't know about the themed rooms or anything.
Oh, okay.
So their reaction to it is quite interesting.
This room is really interesting because we have 2 spirit children that we believe haunt the building, called Billy and Sarah. And it was always rumoured that Sarah would hide over in this corner here, which is why Brett designed this nowhere to hide kind of shadow figure here. Very recently we have had a lot happen in terms of knocking phenomena in this room, and the spirit board here is usually one that's quite active in this room, which is why we have it set up in here instead of some of the other rooms. A name that has recently come through is by far one of the most intelligent entities I've ever come across. It's a John Abbott. I believe the second name is Abbott. So that's interesting that's come through recently, and we're looking to try and build on that over the coming weeks. When I say recently, I'm talking just in the last couple of weeks really that's started to come through. So John Abbott and the 2 children are Billy and Sarah.
Here is the first stage of our plan. Now, we have taken them around the hotel and we've dropped a couple of names. We've dropped Billy, we've dropped Sarah, and some of you will be sitting at home now going, who on earth is John Abbott?
He's a mystery name.
Yeah, we made John Abbott up 20 minutes ago. Made up name. We've dropped it in a convincing way that we want to see whether or not that triggers something that could be proof of Ouija boards being a suggestive trick almost, as opposed to it being something paranormal. this could go two ways. This could, if John comes up later on, it could be that they're literally pushing it and faking it and they're trying to look good on camera, which I don't believe that's how Ouija boards work at all. Or it could mean that it's something called the ideomotor effect, I'll go into it more later, where actually there's just a power of suggestion and you are moving it, you just don't know.
I continue to show Sam and Lisa around the top floor, and I plant 2 more fake names, James Clemens, and as we reach room 8, I plant the 3rd and final name.
This is the room that houses this item here, which is a very, very sinister item, which is why we've obviously contained it. A lot of people come to the hotel in particular to see this item. Now, the name that really works with this is Catherine. So people come in here and often say, you know, they believe there's multiple attachments to it, but the most prominent one is Catherine, if that makes sense. So it may be interesting to get you guys in here later, put a board sort of maybe on top of the box and see if you can get anything around this. But it's a very creepy room, this one, and this is what we deem to be a genuine haunted artifact.
Danny's just dropped another clanger. He's called a Catherine.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 weird names in here now, haven't we?
This is so... I didn't know he was going to do this. I like this. The fact that we've changed something that we know already as a different name. We haven't just made a name up. This is an actual attachment. We've just changed a name. This could be really interesting.
With everything in place, it was now time to begin our Ouija board lockdown. We had no idea how this would unfold, but by the end of this experiment, we hope to have reached a conclusion.
Okay, here we go. So, just joined the boys back in the control room. Interesting walk around. Threw a few spanners in there.
Who the hell's James Clement?
You know, James, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this is planting the seed, and we're going to see if any of these names come through. I was quite adamant on pronouncing the names correctly, really forcing it on them to see now if these names do come up, because if they do come up, then we know that they are physically pushing the planchette or the glass around the board.
There's 2 theories to it. Is that either they are forcibly doing it and they are knowingly doing it, or, I'll explain later, as I've already said, it could be a version of the ideomotor effect where they are moving it, they literally just don't know they're doing it. It's basically a form of hypnotism.
Another interesting point up there as well is Sam is very much a feelings type of person. She said in room 6 that she felt a breeze across her hand. I then noticed the windows were open. But, you know, this will be interesting to see if they get any feelings and really start to spin this. They also mentioned the human pendulum earlier on when we were speaking to them. It's really old school methods and methods that absolutely grind my gears, shall we say. But, look, they're lovely people, and this is, you know, similar to the mediums. We do feel a bit harsh doing this, but we're doing it to move the industry into a better place.
I've already said this when you were upstairs. We are not debunking these.
No.
We were debunking the mediums. They came in claiming something. They're not claiming anything today. They're just investigating how they know. We're claiming something today. We're not here to debunk Sam and Lisa. We are here to debunk the method. Simple.
Good evening, Spirit. My name's Sam.
My name's Lisa.
We're going to try and communicate with you using the spirit board in front of us. We're going to show you the letters of the board. Where's the A? Oh, over here. So all the letters are around the outskirts of the board.
And the numbers.
Go around that way. Here are your numbers. We have goodbye, we have yes, and we have no.
And that is the board, yeah.
Turn that, face it up.
Good.
Right, we'll build some energy up for you if we can, the best we can.
You can already feel it, you know. Can you feel it?
I thought it was spinning. And it keeps spinning this way, see? Is there anyone here that wishes to communicate with us? Can you please take it to a yes if you're here? Use all of our energy. Is that no?
Straight out of it, it moves, and it's moving right now.
Here's one thing I want to touch on. How do you warm up a Ouija board? Oh wait, that sounds like a joke. Like with a radiator. No, no, genuine. It was a genuine question. I realised it sounded like it deserved a punchline.
Would you like to communicate with us? What's that? There is that.
J and M.
I? J? No, it's not J.
I, J, K, L.
L. L.
Are you trying to spell something to us, Spirit? Where are you gone?
Is that a letter? Or are you pointing to where you are?
See, now, right, okay, here we go. Brett and I really differ in opinions here. So Brett believes a lot of this is unintentional. I believe it's all intentional. I believe they push it on purpose. I believe they know what they're doing, and they move it to what they want intentionally.
Our faith in humanity is
Mine
very
is
different.
Mine is very little.
We have the same end game, which we both believe that it's not real and that people actually know about it, but it's how they go about it. It's interesting. There's a thing called the ideomotor effect, or the ideomotor theory. It was first brought up by a guy called William James in 1890. It was the first time it was properly documented. And basically, it's not a theory, it's a fact that has been proven that you can have cross wires in your brain, literally neurons in your brain, that suggest that you can have a movement of something based purely off subconscious thought, which is kind of what we're seeing.
Now, for anyone who thinks there is even a hint of a chance that what is happening here is paranormal and the Ouija board is actually working, then watch very closely, as we are about to completely debunk what is happening here in record time.
Are you trying to get the J? Do you want to make it a bit clearer on the letter? Right, a J. Is that your initial? Is that your first name's initial?
This is J.A. This is what he's saying. John Abbott.
Oh, yeah. Is that correct? Is this John Abbott we're talking to?
This bit pulls off on my legs.
We are zoomed in, super zoomed in on this, and a little friend of ours called John Abbott has come to the table, but he didn't. Something that we see all the time in Ouija boards is a J came up and then an A came up, which actually, well, that's not how you spell John. And then Sam says, "Is this John Abbott?" Yes.
Straight to it.
Well, it didn't spell out a name at all. You just suggested
the
that and it
initials.
said yes. So, like, was it the initials? Was it J.A.?
Yeah.
Firstly, that name we made up 20 minutes before they came into the building, just randomly. In fact, we can get the footage of us making that name up, and now they're talking to a fake person instantly.
He's by far one of the most intelligent entities I've ever come across. Is a John Abbott. Believe the second name is Abbott. So that's interesting that that's come through recently.
John Abbott.
Oh, yeah. Is that correct? Is this John Abbott we're talking to?
If this doesn't prove it straight off the mark, that how easy it is to plant a narrative and have it take place in a haunted building, I rest my case straight away, because here we are. I didn't expect it to happen this fast.
Are you
It's going to be a short episode.
There you go, guys. You got it right there. John Abbott. A fake name.
Some people out there might be saying, oh, it's the spirit messing around with you.
Ah, okay. That classic case, yeah.
Can you tell us what year you passed away? 1.
0.
0. 4. 1040.
The year 1040, when asked what year John Abbott passed, not only are Sam and Lisa interacting with a fake name, but apparently the spirit can also understand modern English. It is a fact that prior to the Norman conquest in 1066, Anglo-Saxon England spoke an old language which would be unrecognisable today. Notice as well how none of our equipment is registering any change at all, but we are not finished yet with our experiment.
We wanted to show how easy these are to just manipulate and move.
Yeah.
Knowingly. So let's just give it a go.
I don't think we've not briefed on each other on what we're going to move it to. We're just going to
random, yeah.
Try to make this as convincing as possible for you guys to see, and then understand, hopefully, just how easy this is.
What if it does move though?
I'll do.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't. Okay.
Would like to know, please, if there are any spirits here with us now. Is Charles Griffith here with us in this room?
Did any of you move that?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, same. So yeah, I moved that, so did Danny.
Okay.
I put the twist on to make it look like it wasn't Danny moving it.
I did the initial push.
He pushed it, I pushed to the left to give the twist so it didn't look like Danny moving it.
Okay.
It's incredibly easy to fake the way it looks. Let's carry on. Let's go to yes, Charles. Charles, is that you?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Charles, can you give us the first letter of your surname? We know who you are. Can you tell us your first letter of your surname?
So I'm pressing really hard down so you couldn't move it then.
Feel me
I was like, where's it going? That's funny.
Ask again.
Oh, we don't need to, do we? Where? Let's go to G. Can you give us the second letter? Hold on. You have to be clearer with us, please, because it stopped on the letter we don't want. So we'll move it to R. Oh, there it is. This is fairly obvious stuff. So,
don't forget the old finger lift as well.
Oh, you got a lift finger, which is fine, and that's great. So I've devised a plan.
Okay.
I have here some just little cardboard discs that I've just cut out. We were clearly pushing that. Now, let's see where the two of you can now. We're still keeping contact,
Do I have to put my finger on
Yeah, put your finger on it like you would a Ouija board. Now...
But on the cardboard?
Yeah, on the cardboard. We are still keeping contact with the planchette as to the rules of a Ouija board, right? It's to do with contacted energy and stuff. So now, let's say Charles isn't here. I'd like to move the planchette to no, please. You can't.
We had just proven how easy it is to fake a Ouija board, but Brett's cardboard disc idea is one that we would truly need to put to the test. We send Sam and Lisa into room 6.
Alright, we have moved Lisa and Sam into room 6 now and set them up with a spirit board in the middle of the pentagram. Here we have the thermal imaging camera on them as well, so what we'd be looking out for in a bit of a scientific and skeptical way would be some kind of anomaly to appear on the thermal imaging at the same time as the board's potentially moving. It's worth noting here as well, this is a new board, it's the special one that you brought. It should move a lot easier than the other one.
Evening, Spirit. My name's Sam.
My name's Lisa.
We'd like to communicate with you tonight by using this board. We shall show you the board. These are your letters. These are your numbers. This is your yes. This is your no. And yeah, this is your goodbye. Alright, we'll try and give you a bit of energy to start with. I quite like this planchette. Nice and big. If there's anyone in this room that wishes to communicate with us, can you please make yourself known on the board? So that's an O from the Ouija. Can you spell your name out for us, please? Wait.
Okay, that's it. So E.
J.
Is that a J or an I? J. E. J.
The planchette does not move to anything in particular, and we track no anomalies via the thermal imaging camera. Brett then heads upstairs and turns all the lights out, and as he does this, he instructs Sam and Lisa to just do a yes-no session, and then sneakily switches the board around.
Okay, Brett Jones has returned. Explain what you have done.
It took me a while to convince them to use this board. We have agreed to a yes-no session. They were saying they weren't getting much out of just letters and numbers. I got them to close their eyes. I've turned the lights up. They are now in complete pitch black. And little do they know that I flipped the board upside down. So the yes and the no are on the wrong side of not only where they originally were, but the wrong side of the board as well. So yes and no are now actually in the completely wrong places.
And it's still going to the same place now.
You sneaky boy, Brett Jones. What a sneak. Well, this episode's going exactly how we predicted. It's quite hard to watch this because they just have no idea that you flipped the board round, and they're still taking it to where they thought yes or no was, and it's just not there.
So here's the question we need to ask at this point. No is now nowhere near. It's actually the opposite end of the board entirely. They're still taking it to where they believe no is. So are they now forcibly going, oh, I know where yes and no is, or have we proven the fact that these literally just believe that that's where yes and no is, and they're moving it subconsciously to these places? If I radioed them now and said, oh, yes and no is the other way around, by the way, they'd start changing it.
They're really uncomfortable.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And I think before we wrap this experiment, because obviously we're going to put them into room 8 with the newly formed Catherine, we are going to drop Brett's cardboard cutout experiment, and this would now absolutely put the nail in the coffin. If
it either doesn't move now when we put the cardboard on, or if it moves and the cardboard just slides off the side, basically if that planchette doesn't move by itself, kind of done.
Now for one final nail in the coffin, I head upstairs to film the final part of this experiment. Earlier, Brett had cut out some cardboard discs, and we were now about to give them to Sam and Lisa. And we have to point out that in every room they have been into, the planchette has moved, as seen here. If the planchette now does not move, then this would absolutely confirm that they are either consciously or subconsciously moving it.
Okay, go on.
Hello, Spirit. If you would like to communicate with us using this board, do we have to show the board again?
No. We've been on it already, haven't we?
Please, could you move the planchette to the yes? I think we should have.
Huh?
I think we should have showed the board, really, but.
Can you take the planchette to a yes? It's just like it's pushing my finger.
Yeah. It's not going to get the connection though, is it? So.
No. We've always found, haven't we, that like you need the energy on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting though.
So any spirits that would like to communicate with us by moving this planchette to the yes? It's just, it feels like
I feel like it wants to go, but obviously there's this in between.
I quote, "I want the planchette to go, but what? But we've put a control in place that means you can no longer push it, subconsciously or consciously. No one there can now push the planchette, and this is the first time all night it hasn't budged."
I'm gutted. I really wanted something to come out of this.
If that planchette moves now, I'll walk out of here believing in Ouija boards.
Yeah.
It comes as no surprise that the planchette does not move, and as I head back to the control room, we move Sam and Lisa into room 8.
Right, I've had an idea. And the fact that I've had the idea means I'm not going to be the one to do it. What if we tell them during their final interviews that all of this, Catherine, John Abbott,
no.
that I switched around the Ouija board, if we tell them during their final interviews, I'm not doing it, and I'm not suggesting you do, but it would make good TV.
I'll do it.
Would you?
Yeah, for my haunted hotel, I'll do it.
What sort of like...
No, because I want to see the reaction to realising that what they were getting them was a load of bollocks.
What they were causing was a load of bollocks.
Oh, I can't. I'm having that like moral crisis again I did with the mediums.
I've only come into the experiment late tonight, so I have got no attachments.
Unlike Catherine.
Unlike Catherine, yeah.
Hey.
No, we can't.
Can we not? So what, are they going to now watch this episode back and be like, what the hell?
Look, it's nothing against these.
No, it isn't. No, true.
It's what these are doing here is what hundreds and hundreds of people do every weekend on paranormal events, including teams. They're not doing anything different.
No.
It's a problem in the paranormal in general.
True. It's like
orbs.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's like I said this earlier, it's like we're like Thanos, you know, you've got to like eliminate half of the population to do a good thing. Even though that you destroy a few lives or beliefs in them. I mean, well,
You know for a fact that everybody watching this is gonna go, boom, you guys have nailed it. Once again, we'll get loads of messages of thanks and people will buzz off this episode, because what we've done here is what no other paranormal show in the world is willing to do.
true.
And yeah, it makes us look the bad guys sometimes, but ask yourselves this: are we the bad guys, or are we the guys that are trying to actually improve the field and stop this kind of shit?
Spoken just like Thanos from the second Avengers film.
I've just agreed to basically destroy two women's belief system on camera by telling them everything we've just done with the Ouija board stuff, with the fake names and the swapping the board round. And I'm about to tell them to their face. So I've come to the bathroom to hide for a minute and gather my thoughts. This is ballsy. Not sure how I feel about it, but I feel better knowing that we told them the truth face to face than them finding out that we didn't tell them the truth the whole time next week when they watch the episode. Wish me luck.
So, from the get-go, we told you guys that we would be running experiments and we weren't going to let you guys know much about what we were doing. I want to let you know beforehand that this has nothing to do with you guys as investigators. We are here to debunk Ouija boards as a tool. So you guys had 2 potential names come through. What names did you have?
So we mainly had initials.
Right.
We
the
had
name
the-
we had was K and
Oh, yeah,
the
we had
first
K.
guy. The guy
And
that
the
stuck
John
in the- yeah.
Abbott,
Yeah.
John Abbott. So you had J.A.
J.A.
asked if it was John Abbott and it went to yes.
Yeah.
So one of our experiments of tonight was 20 minutes before you guys arrived. We created the name John Abbott
Yeah.
as a red herring. We put it out there just to see whether or not that would come up as maybe something as a power of suggestion. What do you guys think about that?
I kind of knew you were going to go that way. I mean, we were getting loads of different letters. They were some that were sticking out, and I guess because it had been put there, we were like, okay, you know, maybe this is who we're talking to. But on the back of that, it wasn't definite JA, JA. There was just mixture of.
Well, first of all, it was K, L and M, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was one after the other. Yeah.
Yeah, but we did get the word K, the name K,
Yeah.
Yeah.
come
we
through
got
in a
K.
couple of the
Yeah.
rooms.
So, when you answered JA being John Abbott, and the Ouija board went to yes, do you believe that that could be, like, honestly, we're not trying to catch you guys out, this is purely to test whether a Ouija board works or not. There was plenty of stuff that you guys picked up on that you know, could have been something else. Do you believe that when you announced it could have been John Abbott and it went to yes, do you believe that could possibly be some form of suggestion? And not that we're saying you guys moved it, but is there some sort of what we call the ideomotor effect that is connected, basically your mind to the board, and and you're moving it without the knowledge of it.
Yeah, I guess there's maybe some aspect of that.
Yeah.
You know, I know throughout the night I get visions and pictures, and whether that's them telling me and then putting it through me onto the board, but already kind of know, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something linked somewhere. John Abbott.
Oh, yeah. Is that correct? Is this John Abbott we're talking to?
We then moved to room 6,
Yeah.
and we tried 2 different types of experiments. I came in and turned the lights off. We agreed where yes and no was. I feel incredibly sneaky. When the lights were off, I flipped the board upside down. So yes and no were not only the wrong way round, but the other ends of the board. From what we witnessed on the camera, we were still getting the same yes and no spaces that we originally agreed to. So have you guys got any explanation for that potentially?
I mean, it was going all over the board.
I was going to say, to be fair, I didn't feel it going to yes and no very often. It was going sort of down, middle. It was quite, because I don't know if you heard me say, I was like, it's not going to yes, it's not going to, you can feel it's going right over.
Yeah.
Or
and we were
at the bottom.
picking it up from the bottom.
Yeah.
Potentially what we thought was goodbye.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did go to the what we thought was yes and no, but a lot of the time it didn't.
After that, we moved the board back into its original way, and we tried a new experiment that we've not done here before with the bits of cardboard.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on the ability to have, do you have to have a direct contact to the planchette, or what's your kind of opinion on that?
I've always thought that you need your energy touching that.
Yeah.
For it to, which obviously that's why it wasn't moving at all.
Yeah.
Because you've got the block in between you and that connection.
Sometimes people are so light, it's not touching.
Yeah.
And you just need that little bit of contact. I mean, you know, whilst it's moving.
See, I do it really light anyway. I hardly touch it.
You do really light it.
Yeah.
But you could put your finger around, so it's your nail, and your nail isn't going to be doing anything, but it will still move.
I'm a bit gutted nothing came through, to be honest with you. They didn't get really any answers. They said, obviously said yes and no to quite a few questions. I didn't really hear all that. Obviously the names we implanted into them came across on the board. Again, their mind playing tricks on them, I guess. So nothing significant enough to say that Ouija boards are real.
That is it. Case closed, or box closed. Ouija boards don't exist. They're not a thing. I'm sorry to anyone that uses them. I was shitting myself telling them that tonight, because that was awful. I felt like I was crushing someone's beliefs. Not that they believed anything I'd said, and they carried on believing and coming up with other versions of the truth, which is fine. They can do that. I 100% respect anyone's beliefs on Ouija boards or any type of paranormal stuff. You investigate how you want to investigate. We're here to tell you there are better ways of doing this. Just on to the next one. What should we do next? Like, just paranormal investigators in general, or
Orbs.
Oh, orbs. No, they're real.
Of
course, orbs are real.
Another very, very successful and controlled experiment, similar to what we did with the mediums. Look, there's no one else doing this. There's no one else asking these questions and putting themselves in a position to take on these controversial subjects. Ouija boards are not evidence of the paranormal. I'm sorry to whoever does them and believes them, but we will probably get backlash from this, and don't really care. Like I said, if we want to move the paranormal in the right direction, these are the things that need to be done, and these are the questions that need to be asked. Lisa and Sam are no different to hundreds, if not thousands, of other paranormal enthusiasts or investigators across the country every single weekend, going on big events and pushing things around a board. If they want to believe that's evidence, and you, whoever watching this, wants to believe that that's evidence, that's absolutely fine. But we're telling the truth here, and we're doing it in a way that no one else is doing it. It's huge. This is what My Haunted Hotel is all about. Let's move the paranormal in the right direction.
How are we supposed to prove to any non-believers out there that true paranormal activity exists, whilst large sections of the community continue with these methods, which are so easily debunked? We could repeat this experiment 100 times, and the result would remain the same. It is a problem that continues to hold the field back, and the narrative that Ouija boards are evidence of the paranormal is still a popular belief of the general public. It is time for change.